Hi there, my name's Lyons-Tinsley. I live way up in Northern California in a coastal region about 1 hour south of the Oregon border, surrounded in native Indian territory. Now there's not much ancient Egypt here, so what I've done for the part of my tape that lets you see how I would act in the field is I'm going to describe a little bit about Yurok Village. We'll get to that later. Right now I'd like to tell you that my degree is in archaeology, anthropology. While in the college that I went to, Humboldt State University, the main focus is American Indians. What I did was I looked at the tribal patterns between American Indians here, and I also looked at village life and the lifestyles in Egypt. I have been to Egypt several times. We'll talk about that at the end. Let's go ahead and look at what it would be like to see me in the field. You know, archaeology is alive in every neighborhood, in every town across the world. Here locally, where I live, I want to share a little bit of archaeology with you. Originally, the Yurok tribe is what they're called today, started in this area over 10,000 years ago, as evidenced in shell middens and cuttings of bones that were done by human hands. Come on, I want to show you how they lived. This is a recreation of a Yurok village up here in Northern California. Every Yurok village had 3 requirements to be a successful village. The most important thing was that they had their houses. There were usually no more than 5 to 10 houses per village. This is a very typical example of a Yurok village house. The Yuroks at the time believed that redwood trees were sacred. They used them to make canoes, they used them to build their homes, and they used them, they felt, to protect their ancestors. They were all built like this. Some were called two-plank, some were called two-plank, some were called three-plank because some just went up at a point, some had this extra thing that went across the middle, kind of a flat roof. Let's go inside and see what it looked like inside. Okay, this is no easy tour. Can you imagine doing this? But that's how you got in the house back in those days. Can you believe they crawled in and out of these holes? This is a normal sized door. This is how it was. Crawling in and out with a baby on your back and food and clothes. Woo! So the women and the children all lived in the house. One thing that's very different about the Yurok tribe than many other tribes is the men never slept with the women. They slept over in their sweat lodge. They hung out in their sweat lodge. They played games in their sweat lodge. They drank in their sweat lodge. They told stories in their sweat lodge. So I'm not exactly sure when they got together to create children, but somehow or another they did. So let's go over and look at the sweat lodge and see what it was like inside that little zone. Most sweat lodges were built low to the ground, covered with rocks like this that held the planks in place. Right past the sweat lodge, you can see that there was a dance area. There was always a place to have fun and party in every Yurok tribe village. I'm going to go on and head in the sweat lodge. I'll meet you in there. If I thought it was hard to get into the house, it's not that easy to get into the sweat lodge, but here we are. This is how they would hang out, and they just lived here and visited, told stories and about recreations and myths and gods and salmon. This right here was the heart of the Yurok tribe. Their dugout canoes took them where they could find food and took them upriver to meet up with other clansmen. Every dugout canoe took a really long time. This is one log. These were always cut into them. This represented the kidneys, and up here this represented the heart. The canoemen always sat there with the oars, and they tied the rope off right there, and there you go. One of the other things that the Yurok tribe is really known for, they didn't have any kind of ceramics at all, but they had basketry. They could make waterproof baskets. They stored in baskets. Each family had their own weave, their own pattern, so they were all very special to them. This one is yellow porcupine quills dyed black, 5-finger ferns, and orange alder tree, little spiky things. It's pretty cool. This is the archaeology I found in my neck of the woods to share with you. I'd love to know what archaeology you could find in your backyard to share with me. Email me. I'd love to learn about it. While I don't know much about Yurok life, I hope that you enjoyed me pretending like I was archaeologizing in my local region. Normally, when I'm out doing my research, I'm in Egypt. So let me tell you a little bit about what I've done in Egypt. So yes, I've been to Egypt. Why would I love to go to Egypt? Because it's awesome to be in Egypt. I've made many friends there. Every time I go back, I enjoy myself more. Now, my main focus of research has been 18th dynasty from the 1390 BC period to 1290 BC period. My main focus is trying to discover who Smenkhkare really was. I'm still working on that. I've been to Tun El Gebel, I've been to the Boundary Stela, at the Royal Wadi, and at Tun El Gebel. I normally stay in Minya. I've been lucky enough to meet Dr. Kemp and speak with him. I've been to most all of the tombs in Amarna. I've gone to the Luxor Temple. I've looked at the Talatat there and tried to figure out what exactly happened with Akhenaten's Talatat when the city of Tel El Amarna was torn down, which was originally called Akhenaten, by the way. I've been lucky enough to get advice from the Egypt Exploration Society. Their Amarna project, the Theban Mapping Project, has been indispensable, although I've only used that online. I've never gotten to meet anybody involved with the Theban Mapping Project. But I want to say that the first time I went to Egypt, I was looking for archaeology. That's what my focus was. But what I found was the people of Egypt. What I found is that archaeology is alive in the villages right now. The people living in the shadows of the temples, the people living in the shadows of the pyramids. I have eaten lunch with soldiers. I've stayed in homes. I've visited during Eid. Food is everything. You would have to understand, you'd have to be in Egypt sitting around a fire in the evening, sharing tea and telling stories and looking at the stars and enjoying the moon. It's a wonderful place. I believe very strongly in some of Dr. Hawass's theories, and I believe his overarching goal of creating a national project for Egypt is absolutely essential to bringing Egypt together into the future. I think it's a really great idea. I just really like it there. I understand the culture. I've worked very hard to have proper etiquette, proper respect, and I think it'd be perfect for the project. What do you think? If I could say hi to some of my friends in Egypt, I would say hello to the boat guys in Luxor and to Kurna School, where I helped set up a grammar project between a school here in the town that I live in and that school there via the internet. It's pretty cool. I hope to see more things like that happen. I'd also love to say hello to the family that I stay with in Aswan and the hostel that I stayed in Cairo. Peace, you guys.